Hello everyone, I hope this finds you safe and well. Good morning to you. Just wanted to start off by saying a huge thank you. About 18 months ago when I left Arch, my YouTube channel had about 56 subscribers. And at the weekend when Norwich beat Huddersfield, it broke through 2,000, which is phenomenal. And I really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for following what I do. That's of course on YouTube. It means a lot. Obviously, any suggestions or ideas for what you'd like to see me do in future, let me know in the comments section. I'm open to all sorts of ideas. I do think I've got a kind of routine for how it's going to be this season, so hopefully that works as well. But I always love hearing from you guys, and obviously I do this for you. It's not for my own benefit. It's for you. So let me know what works, what doesn't work, and what you'd like to see, and I'll do my best. On its way for you now is a segment from On the Ball, this week's edition of our Norwich City Podcast, which I hope you enjoy. A couple of little nuggets from it. We had the brilliant Jim Van Wyk on, who's a sports journalist at PA Media, been covering all sorts of football, but also a huge Norwich fan. And our very own Norwich number wang chief, which is now my favourite introduction for him, NCFC Numbers on Twitter, which is of course Steve Sanders, who is a very much valued member of our podcast crew and top class as always. So a couple of nuggets from that podcast. We're not going to put the full thing up. I know it's been a suggestion. We're not going to put the full thing up on here anytime soon, to be honest, but I hope it gives you a taster for what the podcast is, and of course you can listen to it in full then at your any podcast player of choice. It is free. There is a link in these notes or post for where you can do that on your podcast player. As I said, it's freely available to everyone. If you are a subscriber, you can get the podcast ad-free via the Athletic app, so do that obviously if you wish. But anyone can listen to the podcast, and literally I want everyone of a Norwich persuasion to listen to the podcast in full. So if you get the chance, subscribe, tell your friends and family if you enjoy it. And yeah, spread the word, because it's cracking and I'm really proud of it. And also I think we've got some really good things lined up that will really grow into their own over the course of this whole season, so fingers crossed. I should flag up as well, by the way, subscriptions for the Athletic at the moment are only £1 per month for a limited time, so you should definitely get involved in that if you've been umming and ahhing over whether to do it. This will be the time to do it basically this season, and you don't want to do it when something really good comes up later in the year and you think, well, and then you end up subscribing then, obviously. So do it. Loads of great stuff. I'm currently finishing an interview that I took a little while ago. I think it's brilliant. You won't have really heard from him properly like this before, so I think it's going to be well worth it, and I'm really looking forward to finishing writing it. Anyway, I think that's everything I was going to say. I'll be at Preston on Saturday. I will see you there. Oh yes, and I'm going live on YouTube for 20 minutes on Friday afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock. And the same again on Facebook on Wednesday on my Facebook page, live for 20 minutes around 4 to 5 o'clock. In the afternoon, it's a 20-minute session for you to interact with me directly. Ask me anything you want. I'll give you the best possible answers I can, and hopefully that serves them as a little, as a little way for us to engage with each other as well. So yes, Wednesday and Friday on Facebook and YouTube respectively. That's every week, and I'm trying to keep them short and below 20 minutes if I can at all do it. But of course the idea is I'm doing them regularly, so hopefully we have that regular meeting each week on whichever platform you fancy. Anyway, I've spoken for quite enough. Enjoy On the Ball for these segments, and make sure you catch the full episode notes in the link in the notes. I'll see you on Saturday. Right, now it's time for things we are not going to discuss. These are the things that have happened, but we're not sure we need to spend too long discussing them, such as what I've got. Norwich got off to a flyer. Yeah, I mean, all right, whatever. It's one game. It means nothing. Championship refereeing. Well, that was lovely to see more championship refereeing. Jim's applauding for the benefit of the camera there. Norwich should have had handball, indeed. I did check over the new handball guidelines. They're also something I'm not going to talk about. But the referee obviously said Norwich should have had 2 penalties, but didn't give them, so he apologised immediately to Daniel Farke. So Daniel Farke says, kind of one of those things where I don't know if that's exactly what the referee would have said, but it's certainly what Daniel Farke heard him say. So that's good. And I haven't even written down here Todd Campbell's elbow. People see that?
Oh, yeah.
The Huddersfield fans were a little bit, they felt he should have gone.
Yeah, I think they analysed it on the post match on the post match stuff on Quest, and yeah, it looked probably, if VAR had been around and had another look at it, I think he could have been in a little bit of trouble there. But it's one of those where you see it full speed, but once you sort of slow things down, you think maybe, yeah.
I mean, full speed, I thought it was 6-1, but then I saw the replay and I was like, yeah, he's not that sort of player. But I tell you what, it was that sort of challenge. But we're not going to talk about that. Anything you guys don't want to talk about, Steve?
I guess I'd not like to talk about Timu Puki. I feel like his display was one that's probably under more scrutiny than anyone else's, and I thought I don't know, I can't work out whether he had a good game or not, but ultimately set up the winner and with unselfish play. So pleased that he's back setting up goals if not scoring them.
Exactly. Why would we sit here criticizing? Yeah, too right. And you know what? His composure for that goal, I thought was brilliant. It looked really easy, so people probably aren't willing to give it credit. And then there was a load of storm. Well, we've got to drop him now, haven't we? Well, no, not really. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Fans aren't allowed in the stadiums or stadia. I mean, that wasn't going to be the case, but it's now definitely not going to be the case for a little bit longer, which is a shame because Norwich have gone to a lot of trouble to create a situation where they could look at it happening again, and they've obviously had to postpone all that. I can assure you from being at these football matches, which obviously I'm incredibly privileged to be in that situation, you are all hideously missed. And I do want to say that, but we're not going to talk about the rest of it because it's a bit depressing, really. Jim, is there anything you don't want to talk about?
Onel Hernandez, I think, and whether we're maybe going to see a little bit more of him. We didn't really get much of a chance last season, did we? I think he was probably the one biggest disappointment for me, that we didn't really get to see the best of him. And he's got new haircut, and I think that could be a real good outlet for Norwich. And why isn't he in the Cuban national team? No one wants to talk about that, do they?
Yeah, well, I have to say there was a very good piece. I don't know if I should plug this, but there was a very good piece on the BBC Sport website about all that, which I was a bit disappointed about because I was desperate to do that myself. I went to Cuba on my honeymoon, but no one needs to know that either. I'm not going to talk about that. Brilliant country. But there we go. Plus, Anel's bulked up.
He has.
On Saturday, I looked at him. I thought, you look huge. He looks. Whether he's now too heavy, I don't know. But
isn't he? A bit like.
Yeah, but the way the defender bounced off him in the first half, it'll be a good thing.
He was another player who was fantastic in the Championship, like and Stiepelman and Frantic as well. And I just don't think we got to see the best of them last season. So that's one thing I don't want us to be talking about. Where have they gone missing again?
Well, I've got here I've got here a lot of unhappy players ? That was something I was not going to talk about. On the real time part of the Athletic app, which if you are a subscriber or if you just want to download the Athletic app, you should do it, subscriber or not, get involved because we can do live commentary on news and tell you what's happening. I listed all of the players who didn't travel. There's a remarkable list of outfield players that didn't even travel, but some of them were injured, of course, but not for particularly long. And poor old Marco Mario.
One that stood out for me is Jakob Sorensen, because he wasn't on the bench either, was he? Is he carrying an injury, or is he just still behind Rip and Tetty in the? Yeah, well, we're not obviously going to talk about it, but Daniel Farke sowed that seed on Friday, I thought, because he made a point of saying that Jakob Sorensen had been away on international duty, had basically not played a single minute of football and not trained at the level he would have done if he had been back at Norwich. And from that point, I thought, well, he's not travelling because you've already got so many players, you're not going to take him. So I think he was just doing some fitness work. And but I mean, whether he's then in the squad for this, he's not. The other thing I was not going to talk about is the under 23s, because Norwich's under 23s are currently playing as we record. They're playing at Colney, or if you want to call it the Lotus Training Centre, you can. They are currently 3-0. They beat Reading. The probably most interesting part of that, although I shouldn't really talk about it, is that Norwich's 11 included Melvin City, Josip Drumic, from whence he came. I wouldn't read that into him suddenly getting a first team look in again. And Denel Sanani. Drumic scored.
I think he also helped set one up for Sam McCullum, and Andrew Omobamidele, the centre-back, scored the opener. So there you go. Omobamidele, by the way, is a very good young prospect. I like him a lot from what I've seen, but we're not going to talk about that.